All right, today we are diving into a really fascinating company that's sitting right at the epicenter of India's AI boom, E2E networks. And believe me, it's a story of some incredible growth, some seriously cutting-edge tech, and a few numbers that are just, well, they're truly eye-watering.
So check this out. Just imagine for a second, if you had put 1 lakh rupees into E2E networks back in early 2021, today, that single lakh would be worth over 49 lakh rupees. I mean, talk about an incredible return, right? It just perfectly captures the wild excitement that's swirling around this company.
But you know when you see a number like that, it just forces you to ask a really important question. Is this just an amazing story of a tech revolution in action? Or is there maybe another side of this story that we as investors really need to be looking at?
To figure that out, we really have to look at this like a tale of two different stories. On one side, you have this incredible narrative of opportunity and massive growth, and on the other, you have the cold, hard numbers on the balance sheet. So let's start with the exciting part, the revolution.
You know, this whole AI explosion we're seeing, everything from ChatGPT to the most advanced machine learning models, well, it all runs on one very specific piece of hardware, GPUs, or graphics processing units, and they're delivered through the cloud. This, right here, is the engine room of the modern AI world.
And this is exactly where E2E Networks lives and breathes. They are one of India's top hyperscalers. Now, what's a hyperscaler? Just think of a company that provides cloud computing on a massive, massive scale. And E2E specializes in renting out the supercomputers that are basically powering the country's entire AI development.
And the difference between the old way of computing and the new way is it's huge. E2E's CEO put it really well. A traditional CPU server is rule-driven. It's great for spreadsheets, predictable stuff. It might have, say, 300 processing cores. But a GPU server, it's built for the brain-like tasks of AI. It can have over 130,000 cores. That's 1,000 times more power for AI jobs. It's a whole new ballgame.
So yeah, when you hear people talk about the cloud, don't picture some fluffy white thing in the sky. Picture this. This is it. Rows and rows of incredibly powerful servers humming away. This is the real physical engine room that makes the entire AI boom even possible. And this is the business E2E is in.
Now, this tech shift is happening everywhere, of course, but for India, it presents this unique, almost historic opportunity.
Now this is where things get really interesting. This slide shows a massive gap. India is generating about 20% of all the data in the world, but it only has about 2% of the world's computing power to process it. Just think about that for a second. That's not just a gap, that's a massive vacuum waiting to be filled.
And that vacuum creates what you could call a leapfrog moment. Remember how India kind of skipped over landlines and went straight to mobile phones? Well, the same thing can happen here. The country can leapfrog all the old clunky data centers and build its future directly on this new advanced GPU infrastructure. And that gap, that's the market E2E is built to capture.
Okay, so with that massive opportunity as our backdrop, let's build the bull case for the company. What's the story that has investors so excited? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is their partnership with Dell. And we are not talking about your standard office computers here. E2E is using some of the most powerful hardware on the planet. Dell servers that are packed with NVIDIA's top-of-the-line H200 GPUs. This is about having the absolute best-in-class equipment for the most demanding AI jobs out there. And this strategy comes straight from the top. E2E's CEO, Tarun Dua, talks about building zero-compromise systems. What does that mean? It means their goal is to squeeze out every drop of performance, eliminate any bottlenecks, which, at the end of the day, means a better, faster, and cheaper service for their customers.
And Dell is right there with them. Their VP for India, Anil Sethi, even frames the partnership as helping both companies become global AI superpowers. I mean, you can't get much more bullish than that, can you? This right here is the absolute peak of the hype narrative.
Okay, deep breath. That's the exciting story, the dream. But now we have to slam on the brakes and do a reality check. And for that, we've got to look at the spreadsheet.
Because, you know, while that technology story is absolutely compelling, the financial story is, well, let's just say it's a little more complicated.
This analysis just sums up the whole conflict perfectly. Look, the company's fundamentals, they're good. The trends, all pointing up. But then you hit that one line, valuation, and it just says bad. The stock is expensive. Oh, and notice that part about high debt? Yeah, For a company that has to constantly buy shiny, new, and very expensive hardware, that's a pretty significant risk to keep in the back of your mind.
And this slide right here, this is the disconnect in plain sight. On one side of the scale, you have the market price trading at over 2,400 rupees. And on the other side, the estimated intrinsic value. That's what the company's assets and earnings suggest it's actually worth. And that's calculated at around 121 rupees. You don't need to be a math genius to see the massive imbalance there.
So what does that gap actually mean? It means investors are paying a premium of over 1,900% for the stock compared to what its underlying value is estimated to be. That is an enormous, enormous bet on future growth.
So, where does all this leave us? We're left staring at two very different, yet equally true, stories about the very same company. On the one hand, you've got this company with solid fundamentals, the right tech at exactly the right time, and this huge market opportunity sitting right in front of it. But on the other hand, you have a stock that is priced for absolute perfection, trading at a level that creates a major valuation risk if that growth doesn't pan out exactly as everyone hopes.
And that really leaves us with the final crucial question, one that applies to so many companies in this AI space. In the middle of a technological revolution, when innovation is moving at lightning speed, how do you even measure its true worth? Do the traditional rules of valuation still apply? Or is an enormous premium like this just the price you have to pay to be part of the future?